But that's part of the program of destroying it, because eventually you'll see they are going to go into intergenerational sex. That's the next step, they said at the last big international conference for the censor bureaus. They said that they had won the rights for homosexuality, lesbianism, and so on to be pushed on regular television in shows. So now bestiality would have to come next. And they also say in the higher levels of behaviorism that eventually the word even heterosexual will be meaningless, and even sexuality will be kind of meaningless, because in a world where science, not feminism, liberated women through the pill and abortion, then anything will go, until eventually even deviancy will be obliterated. It'll be meaningless as folk are allowed to go further and further and further ahead, as long as they don't produce children in the process. And Julian Huxley said the same thing, that the leader of UNESCO, the first leader, who also was a member of the Margaret Sanger Foundation for Planned Parenthood, which meant abortion. As I say, the next step, eventually, as I say, all kinds of deviancy is to disappear. And that's already coming out now, where Americans and other ones are going off to Norway, because you can have sex with animals there if you book in ahead in advance. You can get your favorite donkey or whatever, And their whole justification of this is, well, people want this. People want this, apparently. And everything's normal today, so people want this. And so it's a service that's being supplied in Norway. I've read this on the air before, the actual articles, and that eventually you can't call anything deviancy at all. It'll be a meaningless thing as we go further into cyber world, and they get completely confused between different worlds and realities, which has happened to a lot of people already, I think. I mean, they're already pretending they're cartoon figures in cyberspace. Who wants to be a cartoon, for God's sake, Disturbing sex kitten French Vogue photo shoot featuring children. I'll put this link up tonight too, and all these links up tonight. And it's from Vogue magazine. Now, I've always said this, that the biggies are all working together to push the agenda forward. They all work together on cue. There's nothing out there. There's nothing out there that is not part of this big system in mainstream. All your mainstream media, all your magazines, all the things that influence your mind, influence your behavior, experts say, yada yada. This issue of French Vogue features a truly disturbing video photo shoot featuring young girls around 6 years old in heavy made-up, high-heeled and designer clothes. Some pictures actually sexualize these girls by placing them in strange settings, and then they're all in the postures, of course. Notice the presence of feline prints in many photos. A reference sex kitten programming, which is also called beta programming. Loss of innocence, premature sexualization, awkward settings, ritual abuse, blank stares. The pictures truly reek of mind-controlled children. Because you see, as long as the child can consent, apparently according to the big pervs at the top, then it's okay. That was said in court in Britain with a judge not too long ago. I read it again on the air when he said that there was a victimless crime because the child, who was precocious and advanced for years, agreed to have sex. Now, what person at 10 years old knows what they're truly doing or the repercussions down the road? Just because I've watched oozles and oozles of porno stuff on television, and probably with her mummy sitting watching it along with her, because everyone's been contaminated in turn. Every generation till, well, I watched this, so this isn't bad with my daughter. You see, until you're watching the full thing, and then your little daughter is trying to emulate you. You see. What do you think the Spice Girls and all that was about too? You saw the age group they were targeting? What do you think music television's all about? I'll tell you, anyone wanting a child today, and it happens to be a female, better make sure she's an awfully good dancer, because that's going to be the only work she'll get in the future. I'm not kidding you. How to destroy our society. How to destroy our society. Where they'll have lots and lots of sex but never bond. Exactly what Julian Huxley said they would have to make happen. And he even went in to the fact that deviancies of all kinds would arise because there were no consequences, and that laws would have to change, and that anything would go. as long as they did not have offspring. So this is the world that's being produced. That's the world we're into now. And it's got further to go, obviously, but not very far at all. You will see this eventually in a barrage of things happening in the paper with elder so-and-so is in love with 15, then 14, then 13. They've already had some in Britain, apparently. You know, this is how it's going to normalize it. You can normalize anything.